The night before the results were released, I came across a Weibo post from the school beauty who had been acting spoiled. Baby has applied for a grade review on behalf of all the big brothers and sisters in the class, and has also filled in to waive admission for this batch. Grades don't matter, being with baby is what matters. Our class had just checked the results, and even the lowest score could get into a top university. The homeroom teacher was so happy that they sent over a dozen red packets in the group chat. The next day, the system showed that the entire class's scores had entered a review-free status, and admission qualifications were temporarily suspended. The campus bell acted cute in the comments section. Baby is afraid that big brothers and sisters will be snatched away by universities. Just a little freeze, and you can stay and play with baby for one more summer vacation. The baby wants everyone to blow bubbles, peel apples, and fan the baby. I logged into the provincial admissions office page and found that my confirmation text had also been intercepted by her using the class's public phone. I immediately took the text records to the homeroom teacher. The school filed an appeal with the admissions office overnight, and the entire class's file submissions were restored. On the day of admission, the school beauty lay on the track of the playground, crying until she was convulsing. Your futures are all set, but the baby has no siblings left. At the college entrance banquet, my boyfriend Chin Yubai cornered me in the fire escape. Lin Mian just wanted to stall us for a few days. Did you have to take this all the way to the admissions office? The whole class stared at me with cold faces. We're willing to wait until she's emotionally stable before submitting the application. What gives you the right to be so selfish, reborn into this life? I saw her post another screenshot of a successful review application. I quietly exited the page. My admission to the Hong Kong University had already been confirmed. Whoever gets frozen in place this time will have to thaw themselves out. At 1:27 a.m., Lin Mian's Weibo was still gaining comments. Baby, you're amazing, protecting the whole class all by yourself. Baby, don't cry, big brothers and sisters won't abandon you. The screenshot of the successful review is so cute. Your little hands must be tired from all the tapping. The phone screen was glaringly bright. I exited the page and clicked into the admission confirmation email from the Hong Kong University. Dear Su Jiwei, you have completed the admission confirmation. These words lay steadily in the email inbox. In the class group chat, messages were flying by rapidly. The homeroom teacher, He Minglan, sent a red envelope. Go to bed early. The file submission starts tomorrow, so don't mess with the system. Chin Yubai replied, got it, teacher. He Lin Mian sent 3 emoji stickers. Baby can't sleep, baby is afraid. Everyone will fly away tomorrow. Can baby sleep while holding the class phone? The group chat immediately became lively. Shen Zhaoye, hug, I'll let you hug me. The phone isn't going anywhere. Lu Jinan, don't be scared. Mian Mian, getting into university isn't like catching a rocket tomorrow morning. Chin Yubai, just don't touch the system. Lin Mian replied with a voice message. I tapped to open it, and a syrupy voice oozed out of the earpiece. Brother Yubai is mean to baby. Baby's heart is shattered. The group chat was filled with a string of ha ha ha. My fingertip hovered over the screen, but I didn't warn anyone. In my past life, this was exactly where I gave the warning. Lin Mian just posted a screenshot of the review. Everyone, go check the system quickly. That message was like a spark, jolting everyone awake, and turning me into a target in the process. This time, another private message from Chin Yubai popped up on the screen. Still awake? Before I could reply, he sent another message. Lin Mian is emotionally unstable today. Don't mention her in the group. I typed, you know she applied for a review. The other side showed, typing, for a long time. She was just joking around. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. My chest felt tight, and I only replied with one word, Chin Yubai immediately sent a voice message. Jiwei, the list for tomorrow's graduation banquet needs to be finalized. Lin Mian said she wants to sit next to me. Hope you don't mind. I didn't open it a second time. Outside the window, someone set off the last string of firecrackers downstairs, the crackling quickly fading away. At 8 in the morning, the provincial admissions office system opened. The first message in the class group chat was from Lu Jinan. What the hell? What does review and freeze mean? Right after that came Shen Zhaoye. My admission eligibility is on hold. Who flagged it? Admission ticket number has been logged in. Why is my confirmation text message on the class phone? He Minglan sent 3 messages in a row. Everyone, don't panic first. Send me the screenshot. Who touched the class's shared phone last night? The group chat was silent for 2 seconds. Lin Mian sent a selfie, her eyes red, holding the old phone with the class emblem sticker in her arms. Baby just wanted to help big brother and sister check their grades. Why isn't the first thing everyone says when they wake up a compliment for baby? Chin Yubai immediately came out. Don't bother her for now. He Minglan's voice carried suppressed anger. Lin Mian, come to school now, and bring your phone. Lin Mian did not reply. A minute later, she updated her Weibo. Did the baby do something wrong? The baby just wanted to keep everyone here. Someone in the comments asked. The whole class is frozen. Lin Mian replied. Yeah, isn't the baby super proactive? The group chat exploded. Lu Jinan, are you out of your mind? Shen Zhaoya, I told you last night not to let her touch the phone. Qin Yubai, watch your mouth. She just came of age. He Minglan, Qin Yubai, shut up. Lin Mian, call me back within 10 minutes. My phone vibrated. Qin Yubai was calling. When I answered, his first question wasn't about whether the system had any issues. Ji Wei, did you already see her Weibo post? From the hallway came the sound of my mother knocking on the door. Qin Yubai lowered his voice. Why didn't you warn everyone when you saw it? The sound of the door lock turning rang out. My mom stood at the doorway holding warm milk, her face even paler than mine. Ji Wei, why was the file submission put on hold? On the phone, Qin Yubai was also pressing for answers. Say something, you were clearly online last night. I turned on the speakerphone. Qin Yubai, you were online too. He paused. I thought she was joking. I thought so too. You're different. His tones suddenly hardened. You're more perceptive than others. You know the consequences. My mom frowned. What does this guy mean? Qin Yubai heard it, and his voice softened a little. Auntie, I'm not blaming Ji Wei. I just think she should have reminded me. That old wound in my chest was torn open by his words. In the previous life, I was the one who ran to the admissions office to file the appeal. I was the one who found the text message records, and I was the one who stood with Teacher He outside the principal's office when she was being held accountable. In the end, they said I was selfish. This time, I only asked, since you're worried, did you go remind Teacher He? Qin Yubai remained silent. A new Weibo post from Lin Mian popped up on the screen. Baby is so scared. Yubai Gij said he will protect baby. The attached image was a screenshot of the chat Qin Yubai sent her last night. Qin Yubai, don't be afraid, I'm here. Qin Yubai, they won't really blame you. Qin Yubai, I'll talk to Ji Wei about it. My mother's hand trembled, spilling milk on the floor. Ji Wei, the Ji Wei he mentioned, is that you? On the other end of the phone came Qin Yubai's rapid breathing. That was to comfort her. You comforted her by using me as a shield. Do you have to be so particular about it? Outside, my father's voice rang out. Who told you to be so petty with my daughter? My father took the phone. Classmate, give me your parents' phone number. Qin Yubai's voice turned cold. Uncle, this is a matter between classmates. My dad let out a chuckle. Tampering with admission qualifications, you call that just something between classmates? The other side hung up. In the class group chat, Lin Mian started sending voice messages, one after another. Baby didn't mean it. Baby saw everyone's scores were so high last night, and baby felt empty inside. Baby also wants to go to a good university, but baby didn't do well on the exam. Can't big brothers and big sisters wait for baby? Someone immediately softened. Literature and Art Committee member Chi Yin said, she might really be scared. Let her come to school first to sort things out. Shen Zhaoya said, her Weibo is still up. Where is she scared? Qin Yubai said, Shen Zhaoya, don't push her. Lu Jinan, why didn't you say anything when she was forcing us? The group chat erupted into chaos. He Minglan suddenly posted a screenshot of a notice. All students whose accounts have been frozen, report to the school computer lab at 9:30 for unified processing. Soon. Qin Yubai sent another private message. Are you coming? I looked at the email from the Hong Kong University and replied, I don't need to deal with it. What do you mean? I am not participating in this round of file submission. The other party sent a string of question marks. When did you decide that? None of your business. Qin Yubai called a second time. I didn't answer. At 9:20, I went to the school with my parents. It wasn't for submitting application files. It was to pick up a missing English score certificate from my graduation records. The school gate was packed with students and parents. Lin Mian sat on a small stool at the entrance of the security booth, clutching the class's shared phone in her hand, her shoulders trembling as she sobbed. Qin Yubai crouched in front of her, handing her tissues. When he saw me, he stood up. Su Ji Wei, you came just in time. Lin Mian lifted her wet eyes. Sister Ji Wei, the baby is scared. A circle of gazes immediately fell on me. Qin Yubai reached out and blocked my path. You saw it last night, didn't you? He spoke up in front of Everyone, if you had said something, today wouldn't have turned out like this. Lin Mian grabbed his sleeve, her sobs pausing for a beat. Among the group of parents at the school gate, someone whispered, "Is she the one who didn't say anything?" He Minglan ran out of the office building and happened to hear those words, his face darkening to a livid shade. He Minglan pushed through the crowd. "Qin Yubai, are you interrogating a classmate at the school gate?" Qin Yubai stood up straight, his brows and eyes still carrying the righteous indignation of a protector. "Teacher, I'm just asking for the facts. The fact is that Lin Mian operated the system without authorization." He Minglan said each word deliberately. "It's not that Su Jiwei failed to clean up her mess." Lin Mian burst into tears. "Teacher, he is being mean to the baby." Qi Yin quickly crouched down. "Don't cry, don't cry. The teacher was just anxious." Shen Zhaoye sneered. "The ones who are anxious are us, not her." Lin Mian hugged the phone even tighter. "You're all blaming the baby. The baby won't give you the phone anymore." As soon as these words were spoken, the crowd fell silent instantly. Lu Jinan stepped forward. "Say that again." Lin Mian shrank behind Qin Yubai. "Baby is scared. Baby wants brother Yubai to go blow bubbles with baby. Only then will baby give it." A parent's voice trembled with anger. "My son's ranking is good enough for Tsinghua and Peking University, and you want him to blow bubbles with you?" Lin Mian blinked her eyes. "But Tsinghua and Peking University don't have babies." That parent almost rushed over but was stopped by the security guard. Qin Yubai frowned. "She's emotionally unstable. Don't provoke her." My mom couldn't help but speak up. "Just because you're emotionally unstable, you can toy with the future of the whole class." Lin Mian saw my mom and pouted. "Auntie is mean to the baby too. Jimei's sister really does hate the baby." Qin Yubai looked at me, his tone laced with disappointment. "There's no need for your mom to talk about her like that." My dad tucked the file folder under his arm and raised his hand to point at the surveillance camera. "There's a surveillance camera at the school gate. If you try to shift the blame onto my daughter one more time, I'll call the police right now." Qin Yubai's face changed color. He Minglan reached out his hand. "Lin Mian, give me your phone." Lin Mian shook her head. "No. This is school property. The baby held it all night, so it belongs to the baby now." Lin Mian, "Teacher, he is yelling at the baby. The baby is going to throw up." After saying that, she actually bent over and dry heaved. Qi Yin quickly patted her on the back. "Take it slow, don't pressure her." At the door of the computer lab, a student shouted, "Teacher, the admissions office phone is not going through. It's always busy." Sweat beaded on He Minglan's forehead. "First, check your own accounts, withdraw whatever can be withdrawn." Lin Mian whispered, "Can't take it back." Everyone looked at her. She sniffled, a hint of pride on her face. "The baby confirmed it all last night." Lu Jinan's face turned pale. "Where's the confirmation message?" Lin Mian pressed her phone against her chest. "No, Lin Mian, don't mess around." Qin Yubai also lowered his voice to persuade her. "Give the phone to the teacher first." Lin Mian looked up at him, tears streaming down. "Is brother Yubai abandoning the baby too?" Qin Yubai's Adam's apple moved, but he said nothing more. Someone nearby cursed under their breath. He Minglan took a deep breath, turned to the security guard, and said, "Call the police." Lin Mian was stunned. Qi Yin was also taken aback. "Teacher, isn't that a bit too much?" He Minglan's voice was hoarse. "She refuses to return school property and is affecting college admission procedures. Whether it's too much or not, the police will decide." Lin Mian screamed, "No, baby doesn't want the police." She suddenly threw her phone onto the ground. The old phone's screen cracked, the back cover flew off, and the battery rolled to the edge of my shoe. The crowd burst into exclamations. Lin Mian pointed at me and cried out, "It's all Jiwei's fault." As soon as she arrived, the baby got so scared that it slipped from my hands. The shattered phone lay on the concrete floor, its screen still flickering with an unexpired verification code page. He Minglan bent down to pick up the phone. Lin Mian lunged forward and pressed down on her hand. "You can't. Look, the baby isn't ready yet." The security guards rushed over, but Qin Yubai was the first to steady Lin Mian. "Don't touch her." Lu Jinan laughed in exasperation. "Qin Yubai, whose side are you on?" "I'm on the side that doesn't drive people crazy. She's the one driving us crazy. It's only been a few days." These 4 words hit like a bombshell, and several parents exploded at the same time. "A few days. The application window is only a few days. Your kid is the one repeating a year. So of course you can say it's just a few days." Qin Yubai's face turned grim. His parents had also arrived. Mother Qin, wearing a white shirt, glanced at me. "Yubai, don't argue at the door. It's embarrassing." Qin Yubai said in a low voice. Mom, Lin Mian Mother Qin interrupted. What does that little girl's matter have to do with you? Lin Mian's crying softened, and she timidly called out, Auntie, I'm not a bad kid. Qin's mother ignored her and only looked at my parents. The Su family is here too. Perfect timing, the two children used to get along well. Let's not let things turn sour. My father remained expressionless. Just because they got along well before doesn't mean your son can pin a label on her now. Qin's mother smiled properly. Children say things in the heat of the moment. Su Jiwei knew the news last night but didn't warn anyone, which indeed makes it easy for everyone to misunderstand. My mother was trembling with anger. Your Qin family sure knows how to pick out others' faults when you speak. The smile on Qin's mother's face faded. I'm just being reasonable. I took out the admission confirmation letter from a Hong Kong university and the English document application form stamped by the school. Aunt Qin, I'm here today to pick up the materials, not to handle the file submission. She stared at the paper, and her expression finally cracked. Qin Yubai saw it too. You applied to a Hong Kong school. Yeah, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me. You agreed to protect Lin Mian last night. His lips tightened. Lin Mian suddenly stopped crying and looked at the paper in my hand. Sister Jiwei is going to Hong Kong, Qi Yin whispered, so her file being put on hold doesn't affect anything. Lin Mian's eyes were red and fierce, and the next second she shouted again, unfair. Everyone was stunned by her shout. Baby worked so hard to freeze everyone for us. Why did Sister Jiwei run away? Shen Zhaoye glared at her. Listen to yourself. Are you even speaking human language? Lin Mian pointed at me. She knew all along. She deliberately didn't say anything. She wanted to watch everyone keep the baby company while she sneaked away herself. These words hit like dirty water, fast and accurate. The looks in a few classmates' eyes toward me changed. Qi Yin stood up. Jiwei, did you really see Weibo last night? I looked at her. What do you want to ask? If you saw it, why didn't you give a heads up? After all, we've been classmates for 3 years. Lu Jinan immediately turned around. Qi Yin, get a grip. Qi Yin bit her lip. I'm just saying, if she had given a reminder, maybe it wouldn't have turned out this way. Qin Yubai seized on that remark. Su Jiwei, explain yourself. The wind rushed in from the school gate, making the papers rustle. Just as I was about to speak, Lin Mian suddenly jumped up from the ground, snatched the Hong Kong University admission confirmation letter from my hand, and turned to dash toward the fountain. She held the paper above the water. Lin Mian was crying so hard her face turned red. Baby doesn't have a good university, so Sister Jiwei can't have a secret good university either. My dad immediately stepped forward. Give the paper back. Qin Yubai stopped him. Uncle, don't scare her. My mom's voice changed with anger. Get out of the way, Mrs. Qin frowned. Mrs. Su, mind the occasion. She snatched my daughter's materials, and you're telling me to mind the occasion. Lin Mian clutched the paper, her fingers turning white. You all fuss over Sister Jiwei, but no one cares for the baby. Minglan's face turned pale. Lin Mian, even if that document is destroyed, it can be replaced. If you return it to Su Jiwei now, I can still help you explain to the school that you were emotionally out of control. Lin Mian shook her head. Baby doesn't need an explanation. Baby wants everyone to stay. No one is obligated to stay with you. My voice wasn't loud, but the surroundings suddenly fell silent. Lin Mian stared at me. Sister Jiwei, you're so cold-blooded. Give me back the paper. Ask the baby nicely. Qin Yubai said softly. Jiwei, coax her first. I looked at him. Go ahead and beg. He was stunned. What? Aren't you the best at coaxing her? Beg her to give my things back to me. Someone nearby couldn't hold back a laugh. Qin Yubai's face turned pale. Lin Mian, however, looked as if she had found a new toy, her eyes lighting up. Brother Yubai, beg the baby, and the baby will give it back. Mother Qin's face turned completely dark. Yubai, come back. Lin Mian reached out to pull Qin Yubai. Brother says, please, baby. Qin Yubai stood still, his back rigid. He shot me a glance, as if blaming me for putting him in that position in the past life. He cornered me in the fire escape and said I shouldn't have made a big deal out of it. This time, he was forced to bow his head publicly by Lin Mian. Lin Mian couldn't wait any longer and pouted. Brother Yubai is lying to the baby too. She let go, and the paper drifted into the fountain. My mother exclaimed, Jiwei. The moment the paper touched the water, Lin Mian smiled again. It's wet. My dad rushed over to fish it out, his sleeves completely soaked. The confirmation letter from the Hong Kong University was softened by the water, and the stamp on the English certification application form blurred at one corner. Qin's mother finally couldn't hold back. Lin Mian, where are your Parents, Lin Mian tilted her head, baby's dad is busy. And mom says it's enough that the baby is cute. The police car stopped at the school gate. Lin Mian's smile vanished the moment she saw the uniform. Yubai, hold the baby. Qin Yubai reached out, but his mother grabbed him firmly. Try going over there if you dare. Two police officers walked in, and He Minglan immediately stepped forward to explain. A school public phone was taken away by a student without authorization, involving multiple students' college entrance exam application system. Operations. Now the phone is broken, and the student refuses to cooperate. The police officers looked at Lin Mian. Where is the phone? Lin Mian hunched her shoulders. Baby doesn't know. Lu Jinan pointed at the ground. Just dropped it. The police officer picked up the phone body and battery, asking, who dropped it? Lin Mian pointed at me. She scared the baby. My dad sneered. The surveillance camera is right above us. The police officer looked up and glanced at it. Let's all go to the office to talk. Lin Mian immediately crouched down, hugging her knees. Baby can't walk anymore, the police officer said calmly. Then we'll wait for you to stand up, by the fountain. My dad handed me the soaked documents, Qin Yubai said in a low voice. Ji Wei, I'm sorry, I didn't expect her to tear up your things. I looked up, she didn't tear them, she soaked them. His face turned even paler at the office door. Lin Mian was being supported forward by two female teachers. Just as she reached the steps, she suddenly turned back and gave me a faint smile. Sister Ji Wei, the baby just washed away your admission letter with water. The office was packed with people. On the desk lay a cracked public phone, its screen already dark. He Minglan brought over a charging cable and spare SIM ejector pin, his hands trembling so much that it took him 2 attempts to plug it in. The police officer asked, who usually keeps the phone? He Minglan replied, it's a shared class phone, usually used to collect verification codes for class affairs and to contact parents. The day before the college entrance exam results were released, the class monitor Qin Yubai was responsible for taking it to print copies of the admission tickets, and it should have been returned to the office in the evening. All eyes turned to Qin Yubai. Qin Yubai's face froze. I left it on the classroom podium, Shen Zhaoye immediately said. You were still saying in the group chat at 11 last night that the phone was with you. Qin Yubai gritted his teeth. Later, Lin Mian said she wanted to see the photos, so I gave them to her. Qin's mother closed her eyes. The police officer noted, so, you mean you knew the phone might receive the classmate's verification code, yet you still handed it over to Lin Mian? Qin Yubai grew anxious. I didn't know she would use it, Lu Jinan said coldly. If you didn't know she would use it, why did you tell her last night? They won't really blame you. Qin Yubai looked at me. Did you show them the screenshot? Before I could speak, Lin Mian screamed first. Brother Yubai, why are you blaming Sister Ji Wei? It was the baby who posted on Weibo. She covered her mouth, as if she had just realized she let it slip. The office fell into a terrifying silence. He Minglan's expression could no longer be described as merely unpleasant. Lin Mian, do you admit that you posted that on Weibo? Lin Mian blinked. Baby never denied it. Do you admit that you applied for a re-evaluation on behalf of the whole class? Baby was just helping out. You also filled in the waiver for this batch of admissions. It's not a waiver, it's just temporarily not letting universities snatch people. The police officer looked up. The system operation records will be checked. It's better for you to explain clearly now than to have it found out later. Lin Mian looked at Qin Yubai with a pitiful expression. The baby is scared. Qin Yubai's hand moved slightly, but was held down by Mother Qin. Mother Qin's tone was as cold as ice. The police are questioning you, so why are you looking at my son? Lin Mian's lips drooped. Just then, the phone turned on. The screen was cracked like a spiderweb, but it still lit up. He Minglan entered the password and opened the text messages. Row of captchas popped up. Su Ji Wei, Lu Jinan, Shen Zhaoye, Qi Yin, Qin Yubai. She paused when she reached Qin Yubai. Qin Yubai abruptly looked up. Mine was used too, Lin Mian whispered. Brother has to accompany the baby too. Qin Yubai fell silent. Qi Ying's face was frighteningly pale. So I'm frozen too. He Minglan opened the provincial admissions office page and checked the status one by one. With each check, a stifled gasp echoed through the office. Review application accepted. Admission qualification temporarily suspended. Admission intent for this batch withdrawn. Pending review and confirmation. Qi Yin steadied herself against the edge of the table. Last night, my mom was still saying that with my score, I could get into the school she most wanted me to attend. Lin Mian sniffled. Isn't it nice for Sister Qi Yin to be with the baby? Qi Yin suddenly looked up. No, it's not. Lin Mian was stunned. Qi Yin's tears fell. My dad drove night shifts until he got a herniated disc just to pay for my art exam training. Lin Mian, with just one sentence of, I'll be with you. You've left my family's 3 years of savings and his life hanging in the balance here. Lin Mian shrank back. Baby didn't know. Lu Jinan slammed the table. You don't know. Your screenshot says, review and freeze. The police officer said in a deep voice, don't slam the table. Lu Jinan withdrew his hand, his eyes red. He Minglan called the admissions office and put it on speaker. The staff member on the other end said, the school's unified explanation, the student's withdrawal of the review application, identification documents, and text message records all need to be submitted. We'll collect the materials before 5:00 p.m. today. He Minglan immediately replied, okay. The other side added, if the person refuses to sign the withdrawal, the process will be very slow. Everyone looked at Lin Mian. Lin Mian grabbed Qin Yubai's arm. Baby won't sign. Qin's mother pried her hand away. If you don't sign, just wait for your parents to come to the police station and sign. Hurried footsteps came from outside the door. A curly-haired woman rushed in. Who's bullying my Mian? Lin Mian immediately threw herself into her arms. Mom, they're going to send the baby away. The woman hugged her and raised her hand to slap He Minglan across the face. That slap never landed on He Minglan's face. My dad grabbed the woman's wrist. Just speak if you have something to say. The curly-haired woman shrieked. Who are you? Let go of me. The police officer stood up and said, this is the school office. Watch your behavior. The woman immediately fell silent but held Lin Mian even tighter. My daughter is timid. Why are so many of you surrounding her? He Minglan turned the phone's text message page around. MS, Lin, your daughter has unauthorizedly operated the entire class's college entrance exam application system. Lin's mother didn't even look. She's just a child. What does she know about systems? Someone must have taught her. Lin Mian hid in her arms, crying even louder. Mom, Sister Jiwei is glaring at me. My mom let out a helpless laugh. She took my daughter's materials and soaked them in water, and now you're turning the blame around. Lin's mother looked at me, her eyes scanning me from head to toe. It's just a piece of paper. Can't you just replace it? Why are you adults so petty? My father slapped the wet paper onto the table. Then can you also replace your daughter's admission qualification? Lin's mother choked. Qin's mother said coldly, MS, Lin, have your daughter sign the withdrawal of the review application first. Seeing Qin's mother, Lin's mother softened her tone a bit. Mrs. Qin, the children get along well. Mian can't bear to part with everyone. She's been innocent since childhood and has no ill intentions. Mother Qin twitched the corner of her mouth. Are you so close that you used my son's verification code to freeze his application? Mother Lin's face changed. She lowered her head and asked, Mian, did you touch brother Yubai's? Lin Mian whispered, baby wants brother to stay with me. Lin's mother frowned but didn't scold her. That's also because you usually spoil her too much. Qin Yubai was called out, his face turning sour. Qin's mother's face darkened instantly. My son dotes on your daughter, so does that make your daughter's illegal actions justified? Lin's mother immediately raised her voice. Illegal? Don't scare the kids. Can't the college application choices still be changed? The police officer put down his pen. MS, Lin, for now, this involves damage to school property, unauthorized use of someone else's information, and disruption of the admissions process. The specific consequences will be determined by the relevant authorities. You need to cooperate. Lin's mother's eyes flickered. Well, you can't blame Mian entirely. Who gave her the class phone? Qin Yubai's shoulders stiffened noticeably. Qin Mu looked at her son, her voice lowered to a whisper. Did you hear that? Qin Yubai remained silent. Lin Mu clung to it like a lifeline. That's right, we didn't steal the phone. Qin Yubai gave it to us. If anyone's to blame, he's in on it too. Lin Mian suddenly looked up. Mom, don't talk about Yubai like that. Lin's mother, frustrated by her daughter's lack of understanding, snapped, you shut up. Qin Yubai's face turned from pale to red. Auntie, I was just kindly letting her look at the photo. Lin's mother sneered. Kindly? Then you can share the responsibility. The office was in an uproar. He Minglan printed out the withdrawn application forms and placed them one by one on the table. First, have the student sign, then the parent. And submit the ID copy immediately. Qi Yin was the first to sign, her hands trembling badly. After Shen Zhaoye signed, he looked at Lin Mian. It's your turn. Lin Mian pushed the pen away. Baby, don't. Lin's mother hugged her. Don't sign. If you sign, doesn't that mean you're admitting it? He Minglan couldn't take it anymore. If you don't sign, the whole class's materials will be held up. Lin's mother rolled her eyes. Let them be held up. It's not like my daughter is the only one affected. Chi-in burst into tears. Auntie, I'm begging you. Lin's mother didn't even look at her. It's useless to beg me. Who told you to spoil Mian all the time? Now that something's happened, you're blaming her. Chi-in slowly let go of the edge of the table. I used to get her meals, pick up her packages, and do her duty cleaning. Now it's my own fault. Lin Mian hid back in her mother's arms and muttered. Sister Chi-in used to say she loved the baby the most. Chi-in raised her hand to wipe away her tears. I'm disgusted by you right now. Lin Mian let out a sharp cry, grabbed the withdrawal application form on the table, and tore it in half. The shreds of paper fell onto the police officer's notebook. The police officer looked up, his expression turning completely cold. At 1 in the afternoon, everyone was transferred to the police station to give statements. The admissions office required the first batch of materials to be submitted before 5 o'clock, and the school printer had been running non-stop. Lin Mian sat on the bench in the hall, while her mother fed her yogurt. Open up, baby. Shen Zhaoye watched, feeling utterly disgusted. She's 18, not 8 months old. Mother Lin glared at him. Watch your mouth. Shen Zhaoye's mother immediately retorted. No matter how foul-mouthed my son is, he never tampered with anyone's college application. The parents on both sides nearly broke into a quarrel. The police officer came out and called, Lin Mian, Ms. Lin. Please come in. Lin Mian clung to the bench. The baby isn't going, Mother Lin coaxed. Mommy is right here with you. There are police uncles inside. The baby is scared. The female officer in charge of recording stood at the door, her voice calm. I'm also an older sister, not an uncle. Come in. Lin Mian glanced at her and reluctantly stood up. When she reached the doorway, she suddenly turned back to look at me. Sister Jiwei, are you very happy? I am filling out the application for a Hong Kong school certificate. Hearing this, I looked up at her. Not as happy as you. You posted a 9-grid screenshot last night. The hall fell silent for a moment. Lin Mian's face flushed red. Baby, that's sharing. The female police officer knocked on the doorframe. Come in. After the door closed, Chi-in sat down beside me. Jiwei, I said the wrong thing this morning. Her voice was very soft. I was too flustered at the time. The pen tip stopped. You didn't say the wrong thing. You're looking for someone even stranger than Lin Mian. Chi-yin's face turned pale. I'm sorry. Lu Jinan leaned against the wall and said in a low voice, is an apology useful? Just now at the school gate, just a heads up, almost nailed Su Jiwei to the wall. Chi-in lowered her head. I know. Shen Zhaoye walked over and placed a bottle of water beside my hand. Su Jiwei, are you sure it won't affect things at your Hong Kong school? I can make up the materials. That's good. Then, Qin Yubai sat across from him, and from the moment they entered the police station, he hadn't said a single word. Qin's mother kept making phone calls, her tone growing increasingly firm. Yes, he provided the public phone, but he wasn't the one who operated it. The school should handle it as it sees fit. No need to show the Lin family any courtesy. Qin Yubai suddenly stood up. Mom, Qin's mother covered the receiver. Sit down. Lin Mian didn't mean to harm me. She already has. She just couldn't bear to let go. Qin's mother sneered. So you'll repeat the year with her? Qin Yubai shut his mouth. Lin Mian's statement took half an hour. When the door opened, a female police officer came out holding a stack of papers. Ms. Lin, the child has admitted to operating some of the accounts, but his statements about whether he knew the consequences have been inconsistent. Now, we need each of you to submit evidence of the operations. He Minglan immediately handed over the organized materials. These are the text message records and system screenshots. The female officer flipped to my name. Su Jiwei is also frozen. I said, no, I didn't proceed with this batch of file submission. She received my verification code on a public phone, but I had already confirmed my admission to a Hong Kong university the day before, so I didn't continue submitting my provincial file account. The female officer nodded. So, what you've suffered is the risk of material damage and unauthorized use of your personal information. Lin's mother rushed out of the interrogation room. What do you mean by unauthorized use? She didn't suffer any loss. My dad stood up. Is my daughter's privacy not a loss? Lin's mother pointed at me. Since you weren't going to submit the file, why didn't you say so last night? Are you deliberately watching our Mian Mian make a mistake? Everyone in the hall turned to look. Lin Mian followed behind her, her eyes red, her voice soft and cloying. Sister Jiwei, you're so clever. You must have known all along that the baby would be scolded. Qin Yubai finally spoke. Su Jiwei, if you knew you weren't affected, why didn't you help everyone right away? As soon as these words were spoken, Chin's mother slapped him hard. The crisp sound echoed through the hall. Chin Yubai turned his face aside, and Lin Mian covered her mouth in shock. Chin's mother's hand was still trembling. Say that again. Chin Yubai covered his face, his eyes full of defiance. Was I wrong? She saw it, but she didn't warn me. Chin's mother pointed at Lin Mian. The one at fault is standing right there, and you're going after the victim. Chin Yubai gritted his teeth. Su Jiwei is not the victim, she hasn't been frozen. My mother stood up abruptly. Her verification code was intercepted, her materials were snatched, and she was surrounded and attacked by you at the school gate. Isn't she the victim? Lin's mother immediately chimed in. Attacked? Who attacked her? Little girl, don't be so good at pretending. My dad took out his phone. The entire scene at the school gate was recorded on video, and I've already made a backup. Lin's mother's face changed color. Lin Mian tugged at her sleeve. Mom, don't say any more. What are you afraid of? They're just trying to scare you. A female police officer walked over. Mess, Lin, please watch your language. Lin's mother refused to back down. Can't I even speak the truth? The female police officer handed a printed sheet to her. This is a screenshot of your daughter's public Weibo post. The baby applied for a grade review on behalf of all the classmates and filled in the waiver for this batch of admissions. Did she post this sentence? Lin's mother glanced at it and remained stubborn. Kids just scribble nonsense. The comments section says, freeze for a bit. Is that also nonsense? She doesn't understand. She replied to netizens. Yeah, isn't the baby super proactive? Still doesn't get it. Lin's mother couldn't save face. In the hall, the parents' emotions were completely out of control. She doesn't get it, but you, as her mother, don't get it either. Don't drag this out. Just sign the withdrawal quickly. My child has studied hard for 10 years, not to play house with your daughter. Lin's mother was forced back half a step, then suddenly plopped down onto the ground. Bullying people, a whole group of you bullying a widow and her orphan. Lin Mian also started crying. Baby feels dizzy. The police officer immediately called for medical staff to take her blood pressure and heart rate. The results were normal. Lin's mother was still shouting, my daughter has anxiety disorder. The female police officer asked, do you have a hospital diagnosis? Lin's mother was stuck. The doctor mentioned it before. Where's the medical record? I can't find it. Lu Jinan sneered. Don't blame it on anxiety. Lin Mian looked at Chin Yubai with tearful eyes. Brother, the baby really feels so uncomfortable. Chin Yubai instinctively stepped forward, but a single look from his mother stopped him. The phone rang. After Minglan finished the call, his face turned pale. The admissions office said that withdrawal of the application must be confirmed by the account holder who made the operation. For the account Lin Mian operated, she needs to cooperate in explaining the source of the verification code, otherwise the review may be delayed. Chi-in almost couldn't stand steady. How long will it be delayed? Minglan spoke with difficulty. It's uncertain. Lin's mother immediately seized on this point. Then we won't sign, let them review it themselves. Shen Zhaoya's mother snapped angrily. Who are you trying to drag down with you? Lin's mother stiffened her neck and said, anyway, our Mianmian scores aren't good enough for a decent school, we might as well wait together. This sentence tears away the last shred of dignity. Lin Mian didn't stop her. Instead, she muttered softly, everyone, wait for the baby. Chi-in broke down. She rushed over and grabbed Lin Mian by the shoulders. I can't wait. The policewoman quickly pulled her away. Lin Mian screamed. She hit the baby. Chi-in was blocked, tears streaming down her face. I didn't hit you. I'm just begging you. Lin Mian curled up in her mother's arms. Baby won't sign anymore. Baby is scared. Chin Yubai suddenly said in a low voice. Let me talk to her. Everyone turned around. He walked up to Lin Mian, his voice hoarse. Mian, just sign it. Lin Mian looked up at him, her gaze as if she had grasped the handle of a knife. Will Big Brother accompany me for the retake? Chin Yubai froze. Lin Mian handed him the pen. Brother agrees. Baby will sign right away. No one spoke in the hall. Chin Yubai stared at the pen, his fingers clenching and then relaxing. Lin Mian urged softly. Brother, say it. Chin Mu said coldly. If you dare to agree, I will cut off all your tuition fees right now. Chin Yubai's face turned pale. Mom, don't force me. Is it me forcing you? Or is it her forcing you? Lin Mian's tears hung on her eyelashes. Auntie is so fierce. Don't be scared, Big Brother. Baby will eat instant noodles with you. Shen Zhaoya couldn't help but say, which cram school can you even get into with your scores? Chin Yubai is ranked in the top 50 of the province, and you want him to eat instant noodles with you? Lin Mian glared at him. Scores don't matter. Lu Jinan followed up. Then don't touch our scores. Lin Mian was left speechless, unable to retort. Qin Yubai looked at me, as if looking for a way out. Ji Wei, say something. Say what? You know I can't repeat a year. Then tell her. His Adam's apple moved. Lin Mian gripped the pen, her voice trembling. Brother, you don't want the baby anymore. Qin Yubai closed his eyes. Lin Mian, I can't repeat the year with you. This sentence was like a key being pulled out of Lin Mian's clockwork. She froze. Then a few seconds later, she hurled the pen at him. Liar. Qin Yubai didn't dodge. I'll help you find a school to retake the year, baby. Doesn't want school, baby wants you. Qin's mother couldn't take it anymore. It doesn't matter who you want. Lin Mian suddenly rushed to the window. The hall was on the second floor, and the window was only opened with a narrow safety gap, making it impossible for anyone to get out, but her sudden movements still startled everyone. Lin's mother rushed over and hugged her. Mian Mian, did you all see that? They've pushed my daughter to this point. The female police officer stepped forward, her tone stern. Lin Mian, stop this behavior. Lin Mian was crying so hard she could barely breathe. The baby can't survive. The medical staff checked again, but still found no abnormalities. The female police officer immediately contacted the community psychological intervention personnel on the spot. Upon hearing this, Lin's mother became even more panicked. No, we'll take it home ourselves, the female police officer said. You can't leave now, she needs to continue cooperating. He Minglan took the opportunity to reprint the withdrawal explanation. Lin Mian, you just need to make it clear, the account was operated by you, the verification code came from the class's shared phone, and the application for review and suspension of file submission was not your own intention. Only after you finish writing this can the admissions office possibly process it as an urgent matter. Lin Mian shook her head. I can't write. The female police officer pushed the paper over. Then you dictate. I'll write it down, and you sign. Lin Mian glanced at Qin Yubai. Brother holds the baby's hand, then the baby will sign. Qin's mother was about to flare up, but Qin Yubai said in a low voice, I'll hold it. Qin's mother's face turned ugly. Qin Yubai added, hold hands, then she signs. I won't repeat myself. Lin Mian heard the second half and tears welled up in her eyes again. He still reached out his hand. Lin Mian grabbed his hand. As if seizing a trophy, the policewoman read word by word, I, Lin Mian, on the evening of June 24th, used the class public phone to receive verification codes and logged into the provincial admissions office accounts of several classmates. Lin Mian whispered, not several, the whole class. Gasps echoed through the hall. The female officer's pen paused. The whole class. Lin Mian lowered her head. The baby is afraid of missing someone. He Minglan's face turned completely pale. The previously counted number was only the 30+ people who had already been found to be abnormal. There were 46 students in the class, and more than a dozen had not joined the group or replied to messages. The female police officer quickly asked, where is the list? Lin Mian pointed at the cracked phone. In the album, the phone was connected to the data cable again, and the technician began exporting. Qin Yubai's hand was held by Lin Mian, but she refused to let go. Brother, isn't the baby amazing? Not a single one was lost. Qin Yubai slowly withdrew his hand, a look of obvious disgust appearing on his face for the first time. After the album was exported, everyone saw that photo, the complete admission ticket information sheet for Class 1, Senior 3. The photo was taken at 10:08 last night. On the classroom podium, He Minglan stared at the photo, his voice low. This form is locked in the podium drawer. Qin Yubai immediately said, I didn't give her the key. Lin Mian bit her lip. The baby didn't steal it, the police officer asked. Then how did you get it? Lin Mian looked at Qi Yin. Qi Yin's face turned pale. Me, Lin Mian said aggrievedly. When Sister Qi Yin opened the drawer to get chalk during duty, the baby just gave it a pat. Qi Yin stumbled half a step back. I didn't know you were going to pat that. Lin's mother immediately exclaimed, see, it's not just our Mian Mian's fault alone. Qi Yin broke down. I was just picking up chalk. The female police officer tapped the table. Ms. Lin, if you keep shifting responsibility, I'll have to ask you to leave. Lin's mother fell silent. This is the core reversal. Everyone thought Lin Mian was just randomly tapping on a public phone for a moment, never imagining she had already taken a photo of the entire class's information sheet before the evening study session ended. It wasn't a sophisticated scheme, bluntly stupid, yet clearly malicious. He Minglan opened the class group chat and sent 3 urgent notifications in a row, demanding that absent classmates immediately check the system. Soon, screenshots exploded one after another in the group. I'm frozen too, I'm out of town, what should I do, teacher? My parents are already at the admissions office entrance. Who did this? Lin Mian. Lin Mian listened to the notification sound and shrank behind Mother Lin. Baby just wants everything to be neat and tidy, Shen Zhaoye sneered. You'd be quite suited to being neat and tidy in prison. The police officer glanced at him, and he fell silent. The admissions office, upon learning that the entire class was involved, opened a dedicated line. He Ming Lan, the principal, and the police station submitted their reports simultaneously at 4:40 p.m. The first batch of materials was sent out at 5:17 p.m. The admissions office called back. The situation has been reported, and the admission status of the relevant candidates has been temporarily unfrozen. However, the review process still requires the students themselves to confirm and withdraw. Complete the online confirmation by 8 p.m. tonight. Muffled sobs broke out in the hall. Chi-in covered her face, temporarily unfrozen. Is it true? He Minglan's eyes also turned red. It's true, everyone log in right now. Lin Mian suddenly shouted. No one paid her any attention. She rushed toward He Minglan but was stopped by a female police officer. The baby hasn't agreed yet, the policewoman said. Whether you agree or not doesn't affect others correcting the misused operation. Lin Mian was stunned, but the baby's application was successful. Lu Jinan held up his phone and said coldly, my condition has recovered. Shen Zhaoye also shouted, I've recovered too. Chi-in laughed through tears. I can submit my file now. Messages popped up one after another in the group chat. Lin Mian stared at those screenshots, as if all her strength had been drained away. Qin Yubai lowered his head to check his own account. The page refreshed 3 times, and the status finally changed from on hold to eligible for submission. He stared blankly at his phone. Lin Mian crawled over and tugged at the hem of his pants. Brother, now that you're better, you don't want me anymore. Qin Yubai took a step back, her hand grasped at nothing. Qin Mu directly blocked in front of her son. From today on, stay away from my son. Lin Mian looked up, tears falling in big drops. Brother, you said you would protect the baby. Qin Yubai's voice was very low. I can't protect someone who treats my future as a toy. Lin Mian seemed not to understand. A baby is not a toy. A baby is a baby. I walked out of the police station's printing room with the reissued Hong Kong school documents in hand. Lin Mian suddenly saw me, scrambled to her feet, and rushed over. Sister Jiwei, why do you have another one? She reached out to grab it. This time, my dad was the first to grab her wrist, and the female officer also stepped in front of me. Lin Mian, stop. Lin Mian struggled. Baby doesn't want her to leave. If she goes, no one will be with baby anymore. I put the materials into the document bag and zipped it up. I never agreed to accompany you. Lin Mian cried out. You all promised, on graduation photo day, you said you'd come visit the baby in the future. Lu Jinan stepped forward. Can't you understand polite words? Chi-in said with reddened eyes. I helped you before because I thought you were just spoiled, not because you could ruin my future. Lin Mian shook her head. You people are liars. Shen Zhaoye said. Yes, we were all blind before, seeing that the tide had completely turned. Lin's mother began to plead for mercy. Teacher, the child already knows she was wrong. Could the school punishment be a bit lighter? She still needs to retake the exams. He Minglan looked at her, his voice weary. The school will report the truth, damaging public property, misusing information, or disrupting the admissions process. None of these are things I can erase for her. Lin's mother grew anxious. What about her file then? Qin's mother sneered. When you were messing with someone else's file and future, did you think about her file? Lin's mother turned to me again. Sue, I was a bit hasty just now. Say something for Mian. She listens to you classmates the most. I looked at her. Who has she ever listened to? Lin's mother's face turned ashen. Lin Mian suddenly stopped crying. She stared at the hall screen, where a scrolling anti-college entrance exam fraud slogan was displayed. Baby is not wrong, the female officer asked. What did you say? Baby didn't do anything wrong. Her voice grew sharper. It's you who insisted on leaving. Baby just wanted everyone to stay. The officer closed the notebook. Lin Mian, you are an adult now. Your thoughts cannot override the rights of others. Lin Mian covered her ears. Baby won't listen. She was held by her mother, and the two of them cried together in a corner of the hall. Before 8 o'clock in the evening, the entire class had gradually completed their online confirmations. At 9:00, the admissions system updated, and the eligibility for file submission was restored. In the class group, He Minglan posted a long message. To all classmates, remember tonight's lesson for a lifetime. never give your account, password, or verification code to anyone. Kindness is not indulgence, and care is not sacrifice. No one sent red packets, no one posted emojis, only a neat, received. Qin Yubai sent me a message. Ji Wei, can we talk? I replied, no. He sent another message, I only saw Lin Mian clearly today. I stared at that line of text and deleted the chat box. The next day, the school announced the disciplinary outcome. Lin Mian received a demerit, was disqualified from the outstanding graduate selection, and was required to pay full compensation for the damaged public property. The police station imposed a public security penalty on her, and the relevant materials were simultaneously filed with the admissions department. Lin's mother caused a stir in the parent group for a whole day before being removed by the group admin. Qin Yubai was publicly criticized by the school for improperly keeping the class's shared phone and handing it over to someone else without authorization, and his position as class monitor was revoked. His mother personally brought him to the school to apologize. The apology meeting was held in the lecture hall. He Minglan sat in the first row, with dark circles under his eyes. Qin Yubai stepped onto the podium, holding a script in his hand. I'm sorry, my irresponsibility has caused serious consequences for everyone, Shen Zhaoye shouted from below, louder. Qin Yubai clenched the paper tightly. I'm sorry. When it was Lin Mian's turn, she refused to go on stage. Lin's mother gave her a push. Hurry up. Lin Mian stood by the steps, her eyes sweeping across the entire class. Baby. The whole class frowned at the same time. He Minglan said coldly, speak normally. Lin Mian's lips trembled. I'm sorry, everyone. Qi Yin asked, sorry for what? Lin Mian was stunned. Lu Jinan continued, be specific. Lin Mian's tears started flowing again. I shouldn't have used the public phone, shouldn't have logged into your accounts, shouldn't have applied for a review, and shouldn't have delayed the file submission, Shen Zhaoye said. What else? She looked at me, resentment in her eyes. I shouldn't have taken Su Jiwei's materials. I looked at her calmly, and also soaking in water. Lin Mian gritted her teeth, shouldn't have soaked it in water. He Minglan nodded, go back and sit down. Lin Mian had just stepped down from the stage when her phone suddenly rang. She glanced down at it, and her expression changed. Lin's mother rushed over to grab the phone. The screen was lit up, showing a reply from the admissions teacher at the repeat school. Sorry, given the student's recent behavioral record, our school is currently not accepting enrollments. Lin Mian screamed and threw her phone to the ground. This time, no one came to comfort her. On the day the admission results were released, the class group chat seemed to come alive again. Lu Jinan got into Tsinghua, Shen Zhaoye, Jing University, brothers, we made it. Qi Yin, School of Design, Nanjing University, thank you all for not giving up that day. He Minglan sent 3 red packets in a row. Stay well, everyone. It took a long time for Qin Yubai's message to appear. Wada. No one responded to him. A few minutes later, he sent me a private message. Congratulations. I didn't reply. Before starting school in Hong Kong, I went back to my school to pick up my final file. There was a commotion on the playground. Lin Mian sat on the track, with a pile of bubble machines, apples, and small fans in front of her. She had lost a lot of weight, and her eyes were still red. Lin's mother stood nearby, holding the hands of a few lower-grade students. What's wrong with keeping the senior company for a while? She's in a bad mood. Those students were so frightened that they kept stepping back. He Minglan arrived, his voice icy cold. Mess, Lin, if you keep harassing students at school, I'll call security. The moment Lin's mother saw me, her eyes lit up. Su Jiwei. I stopped in my tracks. Lin Mian also looked up. She stared at my suitcase and suddenly scrambled to her feet. Are you really leaving? Yeah, you're not allowed to leave. He Minglan blocked my way. Lin Mian, Su Jiwei has already graduated. Lin Mian walked around her and looked straight at me. You left. Qin Yubai left. Qi Yin left. Everyone left. What about the baby? I said. They'll grow up. She looked as if she had heard a curse word. Baby, don't grow up. By the playground, some classmates stopped to watch. Lin's mother said tearfully, Ji Wei, please talk to her. She can't find a good school for retaking the exams, and she cries at home every day. You were classmates. Record a video for her, saying you'll come back to see her in the future. I asked, and then, keep her waiting. Lin's mother wiped away her tears. Keep her steady for now. The words, in the previous life, got stuck in my throat, never spoken. In the previous life, everyone tried to calm her down, calming her to the point of pushing me out to play the villain. I only said, Auntie, she needs a doctor, not a classmate to sacrifice herself. Lin's mother's face changed. Are you cursing my daughter for being sick? He Minglan interjected. The school psychologist has already suggested it. But you've been refusing all along, Lin's mother insisted. Stubbornly, our Mian is just innocent. Lin Mian suddenly picked up the bubble machine and pressed the switch toward me. A stream of bubbles flew out and landed on my suitcase. She smiled. Sister Jiwei, blow some bubbles. Once you're done, you won't leave. He Minglan snatched the bubble machine away. Enough. Lin Mian's smile froze on her face. The security guard ran over, but Lin's mother was still shouting, "Don't touch my daughter." At the school gate, a car pulled up. Qin Yubai got out of the car, holding an admission letter in his hand. Lin Mian's eyes lit up again when she saw him. Brother Yubai. Qin Yubai stopped 3 meters away, not approaching. Lin Mian, I'm here to return something to you. He placed a pink thermos on the ground. You left this with me before graduation. Lin Mian shook her head. Baby doesn't want the cup. Baby wants big brother. Qin Yubai did not bend down to comfort her. I won't see you again from now on. The color drained from Lin Mian's face. Little by little, you're lying. I was wrong before. I mistook your dependence for pity and your overstepping for coquettishness. Only later did I realize that I harmed others, and I harmed you too. Lin Mian screamed. Baby, don't listen. Qin Yubai looked at me. Su Jiwei, I'm sorry. The playground fell silent. He said, I'm not asking for your forgiveness. I just owed you these words. I nodded. I heard you. Lin Mian suddenly rushed over and kicked the thermos on the ground away. All of you, apologized to Sister Jiwei. You all like her. Qin Yubai took a step back, dodging her outstretched hand. Lin Mian missed and fell heavily onto the track. This time, she cried until she trembled, yet still no one around came forward to hold her. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. I returned the health mattress my mother-in-law bought for 20,000 yuan and stopped them from selling the old family home. My brother-in-law needed money for a bride price, so I advised my husband to work steadily and not blindly follow investment trends. I thought I was protecting this family, but in the eyes of his entire family, I became a jinx standing in the way of their fortune. My mother-in-law secretly switched my medication, and when my heart condition flared up, no one came to my aid. Reborn into this life, I bound myself to the praise and kill reward system, where every word of flattery earns me a reward of 10,000 yuan. Watching the balance in my account grow, I couldn't help but smile. You love jumping into the fire, don't you? Then I'll just add more fuel to the flames. My name is Su Anru, and I met Chen Rui in college. We fell in love. His father passed away early, leaving the family in poverty. With his mother and younger siblings relying on an old family home to get by, my family wasn't wealthy, but we never lacked for food or clothing. However, just before graduating from college, I was diagnosed with a heart condition. Only the world's top experts could perform the necessary surgery. Fortunately, the condition wasn't severe. As long as I took my medication on time and avoided stress, there would be no major issues. Chen Rui didn't mind at all. He held me tightly, saying that having me was enough, and promised to work hard to save up for my surgery. His sincerity moved me deeply, and I didn't ask for a bride price or the traditional 3 golds. We simply registered our marriage, and that was our wedding. Everyone said Chen Rui was honest and reliable, believing that as ordinary people, a simple and stable life was what mattered most. I agreed back then, but after marriage, I realized his entire family was anything but easy to deal with. After graduation, Chen Rui joined a state-owned enterprise. Thanks to his diligence, he was promoted to a junior leadership position 2 years later. From that point on, his mother, Wang Guifan, acted as if she had become the mother of a crown prince, flaunting her status everywhere. She would tell anyone who would listen that her eldest son was a leader in a state-owned enterprise, and she grew increasingly dissatisfied with me, convinced I had married above my station, using the excuse that we were too young and inexperienced to manage finances. She took Chen Rui's salary card for safekeeping. Around that time, health supplements were all the rage, and my mother-in-law attended daily health lectures, bringing home boxes of various supplements. After I tried to reason with her a few times, she lashed out. I'm spending my son's money. What right does an outsider like you have to interfere? A daughter-in-law trying to control her mother-in-law. How ill-mannered. It wasn't until she bought a 20,000 yuan health mattress that I finally lost my patience. While she was out, I returned it. When she came back, she threw another fit, tearfully exaggerating the story to the entire neighborhood, claiming I had long disliked her and wished her dead. the neighbors came to gawk, pointing fingers and gossiping about me. My brother-in-law dropped out of high school and never held a steady job. He spent his days either gaming or racing motorcycles on the streets. Whenever the topic of finding work came up, he'd say his brother was a leader in a state-owned enterprise and would eventually secure him an official position, after meeting his online girlfriend, who claimed to be a wealthy heiress. She demanded a 500,000 yuan bride price, promising a villa and a luxury car as dowry. The whole family went crazy over it. Sensing something was off, I warned them that the girl was likely running a scam and refused to contribute to the bride price. To my shock, the family then turned their attention to their younger sister, Xiao Zhao, who was in her final year of high school. They planned to marry her off to an elderly, disabled man in a neighboring county to secure the bride price. I hurried to the school to pick up Xiao Zhao, intending to hide her, but I was still a step too late. My emotions were unstable, and after returning home, I felt a sharp pain in my heart. When I reached for the medicine bottle, I found it empty. I crawled to Chen Rui's feet, begging him to buy medicine for me, but he kicked me away. If it weren't for you stopping me from investing with Brother Peng, I would have already soared to success. You damn woman, you deserve to die. My mom was right, you're nothing but a jinx. Only when you die can our family prosper, and I can finally be with Chao Xian openly. I lost consciousness amidst Chen Rui's vicious curses, filled with deep regret. How could I have been so blind as to marry such a beast? When I woke up again, I was back on the day my mother-in-law bought the 20,000 yuan mattress. A strange sensation flooded my mind, and a mechanical voice told me I had been bound to the praise and kill reward system. As long as I said something flattering to anyone, I would receive a cash reward of 10,000 yuan. Filled with doubt, I could hardly believe such an absurd thing was happening to me. Watching my mother-in-law joyfully directing the workers to move the mattress, I found myself saying, "Mom, you have such great taste. I heard this mattress contains magnets and traditional Chinese medicine ingredients. Not only can it cure all kinds of ailments for the elderly, but it can also prolong life." My mother-in-law gave me a disdainful look but couldn't hide her excitement. Of course, Professor Li, the health expert, said that we elderly should treat ourselves well, otherwise, all the money my son works so hard for would just benefit outsiders. I listened to her sarcastic remarks with a smile, secretly opening my phone. Sure enough, the bank showed a deposit of exactly 10,000 yuan. I tried my best to control my trembling hands and keep my composure. "Mom, you're so wise. Chen Rui is so capable. He's bound to get promoted in the next 2 years. You'll soon be a wealthy lady, enjoying life." My mother-in-law gave me a strange look, probably wondering why I was being so docile today. On the surface, I was polite, but inside, I sneered. "Wang Guifan, you want to be the mother of the crown prince, don't you? Then I'll indulge you. Let's see if you can handle such good fortune." I spent the entire afternoon with Wang Guifan listening to health lectures, constantly praising her for her taste, ambition, and understanding of life. Wang Guifan was thoroughly pleased, completely taken in by my flattery, and bought a pile of health products to take home. Sitting in the bedroom, I opened my phone with a pious expression, excitedly staring at the extra zeros in my bank account. Suddenly, I heard the door open, and Chen Rui walked in with a smile on his face. I quickly composed myself. He frowned and asked, "Enru, Mom spent 20,000 yuan on a mattress today. Is that bed made of gold? Why didn't you stop her?" Looking at Chen Rui's face, I couldn't help but feel disgusted. I wanted to tear that hypocritical, greasy face in half and see what kind of black heart was hidden beneath the flesh. Swallowing my revulsion, I put on a gentle and caring expression. "Mom just wants to stay healthy so she won't hold you back. Everyone in the neighborhood knows how filial you are, so her happiness is what matters most. Besides, it's just a mattress. Once you get promoted to supervisor, what's a little money like that?" Chen Rui's face immediately lit up at the word promotion, as if he had already been promoted. He quickly changed his tone, smiling as he leaned closer to me. "I was just trying to save money for your surgery. If Mom buys unnecessary things again, you should talk her out of it." I sneered inwardly. Chen Rui was always like this, never confronting his mother himself, always making me the bad guy, leaving me with a reputation for being stingy and harsh. Meanwhile, he walked away unscathed, the perfect filial son. In this life, I wouldn't compromise anymore. Just as I was thinking about how to deal with this pack of wolves, Chen Rui suddenly leaned in mysteriously. "I ran into Brother Peng today. He's doing really well now, wearing designer clothes, driving a Porsche, worth at least a few $100 million. In my previous life, I had cut him off when he started talking like this. I advised him not to get involved in those unrealistic investments, if there were truly high return, low risk opportunities. Why would they ever come to ordinary people like us? I thought he had listened, but instead, he held a grudge and even tried to kill me. This time, I pretended to be interested. Oh, wasn't he just drifting along before, without a proper job? How did he suddenly get so rich? Greed flashed in Chenroy's eyes. Exactly. I treated him to a meal today and asked how he made his fortune. Brother Peng is really straightforward. He told me everything and even said he'd take me along to invest and get rich. Don't you think I'm about to hit the jackpot? I immediately agreed. There's such a good opportunity, honey. I always knew you had it in you. Back in college, I noticed you had a sharp business mind and knew how to network. With a friend guiding you this time, it's bound to work out. Encouraged by my support, Chenroy grew even more excited and went on and on about Brother Peng's path to riches. I knew right away it was a classic scam, initially offering small returns to lure people in, then exploiting their greed to get them to invest more before disappearing. This kind of scheme specifically targets greedy, incompetent people like Chenroy, and it works every time. Years ago, after Chenroy became a low-level manager, he stopped striving for more, spending his days slacking off. Back when the economy was booming, many of his classmates ventured into private companies or started businesses, and quite a few had already achieved financial freedom. Chenroy was too timid and lazy to give up his secure job, yet he envied others' high incomes. His desire to get rich quick grew stronger and stronger, making it inevitable that he'd go down the wrong path. Since that was the case, I might as well go with the flow and give him an extra push. To show my support, I suggested he demonstrate his sincerity to Brother Peng by investing all the savings from his salary card. While my salary would cover the mortgage and daily expenses, Chenroy was quite satisfied, and turned to ask Wang Guifan for the money, only to return with a snub. Not long after, a fierce quarrel erupted from next door. Following the noise, I saw the mother and son arguing with flushed faces. Chenroy, who had always played the role of a filial son, had actually turned against his mother. It turned out that Wang Guifan's evasiveness and refusal to hand over the bank card had aroused Chenroy's suspicion. Upon checking, he discovered that the salary card, which had been accumulating for 7 or 8 years, now had less than 10,000 yuan left. How could Chenroy's meager salary withstand the extravagance of this? Prince's mother, Wang Guifan, who had always been unreasonable, not only squandered the money but also seized the opportunity to berate Chenroy for being unfilial, crying and wailing with tears and snot streaming down her face. I stood with my arms crossed, watching the drama of dogs biting dogs for a while. When their commotion had nearly subsided, I pretended to take turns comforting the mother and son. Only after I had soothed both of them did I reluctantly stop. I ran back to my room and excitedly opened my phone. Tonight's system reward was a full 2 million yuan. I pinched myself several times to keep from laughing out loud. Chenroy returned to the room, still looking gloomy and worried, and asked me, what should we do now? I had long seen through his thoughts. Wasn't he just eyeing the 100,000 yuan dowry my mother gave me when we got married? Keep dreaming. I pitifully opened another banking app to show him, revealing a balance of only a few hundred yuan. The rest of the money had long been transferred away. After so many years of marriage, with mom holding your salary card, haven't I been the one covering all the household expenses? My dowry was already used to make up for it. Where would I have money for your investment? Chenroy avoided my gaze, feeling guilty for my words. I sighed and continued, but such a good investment opportunity shouldn't be missed. I have an idea, but I don't know if you'll agree. Hearing this, Chenroy's eyes lit up, and he immediately urged me. What idea? I said slowly. In my opinion, since our whole family lives here and the old house in the countryside has been vacant for a long time, why not sell it? The money from the sale would be more than enough for the investment. Chenroy slapped his forehead. How could I have forgotten about that? No one wants to go back and live in the old house anyway. Tomorrow, I'll find an agent to sell it. Honey, you really have good ideas. Chenroy tried to get close to me as he spoke, but I felt a wave of nausea and pushed him away, using my heart discomfort as an excuse. In my previous life, my brother-in-law Chenwei sold the old family home to cover the betrothal money. Not long after, the village where the old house was located was developed into a tourist village by the local government. The old house happened to be right in the center of the commercial street. After being renovated, it was rented out at a high price, leaving the whole family filled with regret. Chenwei even went to the buyer's house twice to cause trouble, nearly getting his legs broken before he finally gave up. This time, I quietly asked a friend to buy the old house and several other long unoccupied old houses nearby. Once the tourist village is built, I will be the biggest beneficiary. As I was calculating in my mind, my heart suddenly twinged with pain. I quickly got out of bed to find medicine and take it, and it took a long time for me to calm down. The surgery could no longer be delayed. I thought about how, in my previous life was always tight, with my mother-in-law and brother-in-law constantly eyeing the money in my hands. In the end, I never saved enough for the surgery, which gave them the opportunity to switch my medicine and kill me. Now, I need to hurry and get the surgery done, using a healthy body to deal with this family of scum. Early the next morning, I called Dr. Zhou and asked her to get in touch with the international expert, Dr. Steve, to discuss the surgery timing and plan. I listened intently to Dr. Zhou's explanation, but out of the corner of my eye, I noticed the door had been cracked open, and someone was standing outside eavesdropping. I yanked the door open, startling Chen Wei, who was standing there. Damn, sis, what are you doing? Who are you talking to so sneakily in broad daylight? I suppressed my anger. This is my house, and I can call whoever I want. What are you doing sneaking around outside my door? Chen Wei walked away, waving his hand dismissively, muttering under his breath, closing the door to make a call. Who knows if it's some pretty boy on the other end? I watched Chen Wei's sloppy retreating figure and clenched my fists. Dr. Zhou told me that Dr. Steve happened to be in the country recently for an exchange, and the provincial hospital had just imported the most advanced medical equipment. The surgery could be completed within this month. I was almost moved to tears. In my previous life, because of this illness, no matter what I did, I always felt powerless. If it weren't for my naturally strong will and the determination to keep going, I might have sunk into despair long ago, because I couldn't overexert myself or experience strong emotional fluctuations. The startup company I had already begun to shape by the time I graduated from university had to be handed over to others. Several job offers from major companies were also withdrawn due to my failed physical exams. Later, I almost resigned myself to fate, thinking that perhaps living a plain and uneventful life was my destiny. I went to work as a clerk at a small company, no longer daring to dream of a successful career. But now, everything is different. Heaven has given me a chance to live my life again, and I must seize it tightly, never wasting this opportunity again. During those days, I didn't even have the energy to deal with the Chen Rui family's schemes. Whenever I had a moment to spare, I either went to the hospital or studied the materials Dr. Zhou had given me. On the day the surgery plan was finalized, I returned home from the hospital to find the lock on my bedroom broken, the room in disarray, and my medical records and documents gone. Before I could even react, I heard Chen Wei dragging his mother and Chen Rui into the room. Chen Wei pointed at me angrily and shouted, "Brother, I told you this woman is cunning and selfish. No wonder she framed Fei Fei as a fraud and refused to pay the betrothal gift for me. She was planning to keep the money for her own surgery. What kind of heart disease costs so much to treat? She just can't stand seeing our family do well. She's jealous that I can become the Zhao family's son-in-law and inherit billions in the future. I really want to slap her." When Chen Rui brought his so-called wealthy girlfriend Fei Fei home, I had already been suspicious. How could a wealthy heiress who graduated from a prestigious overseas university be interested in someone like Chen Wei? An uneducated troublemaker. That Fei Fei put on all sorts of airs, but I remained calm and, with a few probing questions, confirmed she was a fraud. The school, family background, and high society life she fabricated were all clearly fake to me. Yet, these clumsy tricks happened to fool Chen Wei and Wang Guifan, who had no real exposure to such things. At first, even Chen Rui found Zhao Feifei's story full of holes, but after she treated them to a meal at a 5-star hotel, he stopped questioning her. Not only did he support the marriage, but he also tried every means to help his brother gather the betrothal gift, hoping that once his brother married into the wealthy family, he too could rise to success. What a clever plan. Now, they were in a hurry to get their hands on my life-saving money. Thinking of this, I gritted my teeth even harder. I only lost one life. But you almost lost your chance to marry into a wealthy family. Wang Guifan glared at me fiercely and scolded angrily. Well, no wonder when Chen Rui needed investment, you urged him to come to me, an old woman, for money. So you, this little wretch, had already schemed to take my son's property and embezzle it for your own surgery. After steadying myself, I looked at Chen Rui, my voice trembling. Do you think the same way? Is Chen Wei's betrothal gift more important than my life? Chen Rui frowned. his face full of reproach. Anru, Xiao Wei doesn't mean it that way. If he can really marry Zhao Feifei and inherit the Zhao family's fortune, won't the money for your surgery be just a small matter? Can't you think long-term and have a broader perspective? I had expected such a response. How could this heartless family possibly care about my life or death? I dug my nails into my palm, squeezed out a few tears, and tried my best to look wronged. This money was saved by my parents for a long time for my surgery. I haven't taken a single cent from your family. Since Chen Wei likes Feifei so much, I won't stand in the way of their relationship. I looked up at Chen Rui, tears welling in my eyes. Husband, you're right, you have a far-sighted perspective. While I was being narrow-minded, I'm willing to take out the money for Chen Wei's bride price. I just hope that once our little brother becomes a distinguished son-in-law, he won't forget his older brother and sister-in-law. Chen Wei happily patted his chest and agreed repeatedly. The three of them were overjoyed. However, I suddenly changed my tone. It's just that I had already prepaid the money to the hospital for my surgery, and it will take a few days to complete the procedures to withdraw it. Seeing that I had relented, they were ecstatic and naturally didn't mind waiting a few days, but I knew that the surgery money I had saved was far from enough for the 500,000 bride price. Sooner or later, they would set their sights on my younger sister. I glanced toward the balcony. Xiao Zhao was washing clothes while sneaking glances at the vocabulary book beside her, silently memorizing the words. Seeing this, my eyes suddenly welled up with tears. Xiao Zhao had always been a kind and good child. In my previous life, when my mother-in-law gave me a hard time and forced me to wash clothes with cold water even during my period, it was Xiao Zhao who secretly made me brown sugar ginger water. When Chen Wei got drunk and went on a rampage, nearly slashing my face with a knife, it was Xiao Zhao who threw herself in front of me to shield me, only to have her own arm cut. In my previous life, Xiao Zhao was just as diligent and eager to learn. She ranked first in the school in several mock exams during her senior year of high school, and her teachers said she was a promising student. But a week before the college entrance exam, Chen Wei, in order to gather his own bride price, conspired with my mother-in-law to drug Xiao Zhao and sell her to a nearly 40-year-old lame man from another province. When I found out, I went crazy searching for her. By the time I brought her back from the man's house, a month had already passed since the exam. Xiao Zhao was devastated and mentally broken. Chen Rui, annoyed that she was living at home without contributing, arranged for her to work in an electronics factory. Xiao Zhao's originally brilliant life was ruined just like that. After Chen Rui killed me, only Xiao Zhao rushed back, leaning over me and crying uncontrollably. In this life, I must protect Xiao Zhao and never let these beasts ruin her life. There were only 3 days left before the winter break ended. I spent the whole night searching for information and making countless phone calls, finally finding a private boarding training camp. The camp had excellent teachers but was expensive, costing 200,000 in tuition per month. It typically only enrolled students from elite families, so few people knew about it. Fortunately, money was the last thing I lacked right now. On the day school started, I told my mother-in-law and the others to rest at home, explaining that I would take Xiao Zhao back to school. Along the way, Xiao Zhao quietly reminded me several times that I was going the wrong way. I simply replied, "No, I'm not," ignoring the confusion in her eyes. I took her straight to the training camp. While I was handling the enrollment procedures with the teacher, Xiao Zhao flipped through the exercise books nearby, and her eyes gradually lit up with excitement. When no one was in the office, she grabbed my arm, her excitement barely contained. "Sister-in-law, the questions here are all from original sources, and there are answer explanations. Each problem has at least 3 solutions." I only looked for a moment, and the concepts I never understood suddenly clicked. I patted her head. "So you must cherish this opportunity and not tell anyone, understand?" Xiao Zhao's eyes instantly reddened. "Sister-in-law, are you saying my second brother would really trade me for bride price?" I shook my head. "In this life, whether Chen Wei will sell you or not, I truly can't predict, and I can't gamble on it. But you must remember, when it comes to human nature, never bet your future on it." Xiao Zhao held back her tears and nodded firmly. Suddenly remembering something, she anxiously grabbed my arm. "Sister-in-law, training camps like this are very expensive, and you still need to save money for your surgery. I can just ask the teacher for a few sets of practice papers." "Really, it's not about the money," I interrupted her. "Xiao Zhao, the most important thing for you right now is the college entrance exam. It's your only way out before you become completely independent." After settling Xiao Zhao, I didn't return to the Chen family home. Instead, I drove straight to the hospital. My heart surgery was scheduled for today. Before checking in, I told Chen Rui that I would be away on a business trip for half a month. He didn't suspect a thing. After all, this would give him the perfect excuse to openly spend time with his mistress. The surgery went smoothly. In the final moments before the anesthesia took effect, scenes from my past life flashed vividly before my eyes. My mother-in-law flushing my medication down the toilet, my brother-in-law beating me until my heart gave out, Chen Rui standing by and deliberately delaying help, and the heart-wrenching cries of my parents and Xiao Zhao, who were completely unaware of what was happening. When I woke up again, I felt my heart beating strongly and my mind was clear. A sense of happiness born of good health washed over me, and tears of joy slid from the corners of my eyes. A healthy body, ample savings, and enemies slowly falling into a trap. All of this filled me with contentment and sped up my recovery. 2 weeks later, I was already moving around as usual. My phone suddenly vibrated, and when I glanced at it, my mood instantly brightened. Back at home, Chen Rui looked excited and eagerly pulled me over to show me the investment returns that had just landed in his account. I invested 300,000, and in just 1 month, I've already gotten 50,000 back. The returns are just too high. I forced an excited expression. It seems Brother Peng is really reliable, but of course, it's all thanks to you, dear husband, for spotting such a great investment opportunity. Chen Rui looked smug. Of course, this is just the first month's returns. Brother Peng said next month's profits will at least double. I showered him with praise and admiration, and Chen Rui ate it up. If Chen Rui were a dog, his tail would be wagging so high it'd hit the doorframe. Honey, since this project is so profitable, I'm thinking of investing more, Chen Rui said, feigning affection as he leaned closer. How about I borrow some money from your parents? Once we make a profit, we can pay them back double or triple. Honey, what do you think? A chill ran down my spine. This scoundrel actually had the nerve to set his sights on my parents' money. I frowned slightly. My parents were just ordinary workers before they retired. They've been saving for years to put together that sum, and now, my surgery expenses have to be handed over to Xiao Wei. Where would they get more money? I paused, then said to Chen Rui, why don't we sell this apartment instead? Housing prices have dropped sharply, and we're paying such high interest on the mortgage every month. It'd be better to turn it into cash for investment. Chen Rui was tempted. After all, this small 3-bedroom apartment was far too cramped for 4 people. Every time Xiao Zhao came back, he had to make do with a makeshift bed in the living room. Chen Rui, this fool, spent his days slacking off, playing games, and fooling around with his mistress. How would he know that just 2 blocks away, construction had already begun on the new campus of City No. 1 middle school, and Brother Peng kept dropping hints that the investment slots were about to fill up. If we missed this chance to invest more, we'd have to wait another 3 years. I revealed my plan to sell the house to Chen Wei and Wang Guifan. Chen Wei thought that selling the house would help him gather enough money for the bride price. As for Wang Guifan, she had long been jealous of Aunt Li, who attended the same lectures with her and had moved into her son's large villa. She couldn't wait for Chen Rui to invest and make a fortune so she could regain face in front of her old friends. With their encouragement, Chen Rui eagerly listed the house on a real estate website. I then arranged for someone else to buy the house at an extremely attractive price, successfully driving the Chen family, these parasites, out of the home. To earn system rewards, I also pretended to move with the family into a rental apartment. With the limited proceeds from the sale, Chen Rui couldn't afford a decent rental, so the whole family had to squeeze together, making even basic activities like washing up and using the toilet extremely inconvenient. My mother-in-law complained endlessly, but she couldn't bring herself to blame her precious son, so she directed all her grievances at me, blaming me entirely for the terrible idea of selling the house. I didn't argue back. Instead, I smiled and agreed with her scolding while continuing to paint a rosy picture for them. Once the returns come in, we'll buy a big villa in Nanshan and hire 3 maids to take care of you. Only then did my mother-in-law stop complaining, happily fantasizing about her future life as a wealthy lady. Over the following period, to drain Chen Rui's savings and lure him into investing more, the scammer would transfer him a return every few days. Chen Rui had never seen so much money in his life and began spending recklessly, splurging as if he had won the lottery. My mother-in-law also became more unrestrained in buying health products, casually signing up for a wellness course costing 100,000 yuan per session. My brother-in-law bought a new motorcycle and spent day and night with his dubious friends. coming home only to ask for more money. The whole family was in a frenzy, like a school of fish growing restless before a storm. Meanwhile, I was busy casting my net. I spread the word that Chenroy's investment project was performing exceptionally well and that next month's dividends could reach millions. This good news drove Chenroy's entire family into a frenzy, and I also made sure to deliver the news to his mistress, Chao Xian. Once she heard it, Chao Xian would undoubtedly pressure Chenroy to divorce me, as the longer he waited, the more of the returns I would be entitled to in the divorce settlement. Chao Xian certainly didn't want all that profit to end up in my pocket. Chenroy was secretly taking phone calls and making excuses not to come home more and more often. Sure enough, Chao Xian began to pressure him. According to the reports from the people I had watching them, Chao Xian was using the child in her womb as leverage. If Chenroy didn't divorce me before the huge profits came in, she would abort the baby. Chenroy was extremely anxious. We had been married for many years without children, so he must have placed great importance on this baby. During this time, I acted gentle, kind, and virtuous. Even someone as difficult as my mother-in-law couldn't find a single fault with me, because I had already prepared an opportunity for them to make a fuss. After being discharged from the hospital, Dr. Zhou would regularly call for follow-ups to check on my recovery. Whenever she called, would deliberately hide in my room or the stairwell, lowering my voice to whisper. Occasionally, I would even book a hotel room myself, stay there for a while, and then return home. When I caught glimpses of my mother-in-law eavesdropping or following me out of the corner of my eye, I secretly rejoiced. The fish had finally taken the bait. Half a month later, I calculated that the timing was right. I wrote the hotel room number on a note, tore it up, threw it in the trash, and hurried out the door. With light steps, I hailed a taxi to the Four Seasons Hotel, walked to the room I had booked, and pushed the door open. A man was already waiting inside, smoking nervously with a look of agitation. "Why are you so late, and why did you have to meet in a place like this? It makes me feel like I'm having an affair." I curved my lips into a slight smile but didn't respond to his comment. Instead, I took 2 stacks of cash from my bag. "What about the thing I want? Delete it in front of me first." Zhao Chang took a laptop out of his briefcase, opened it in front of me, and was about to delete one of the folders when I quickly stopped him, grabbed the mouse, and began scrolling through the photos in the folder. Zhao Chang muttered under his breath, "I really don't understand. He's doing this behind your back, and you still want to clear his name. A virtuous wife and mother like you is truly rare these days." He deliberately emphasized the words, virtuous wife and mother, but I acted as if I hadn't heard them. I had to admit, Zhao Chang's photography skills were quite good. Everything about Chenroy's affair was captured, long shots, close-ups, and even detailed shots. As I looked through them, I couldn't help but laugh. Zhao Chang and Chenroy were colleagues and also competitors. They had disliked each other since they joined the company. Recently, there was a promotion opportunity at the company, and the candidates happened to be the two of them. I had someone pass a message to Zhao Chang, telling him that Chenroy's private life was a mess and that as long as he exposed the matter, the promotion would undoubtedly be his. After Zhao Chang had been tailing Chenroy for a while, I contacted him, claiming I was willing to pay a high price for the things he had photographed. The price I offered was something Zhao Chang would have to save for over a decade even if he actually got the promotion. After weighing his options, he agreed to delete the evidence in person. I slowly moved my fingers, admiring the indecent photos of Chenroy and Chao Xian, while silently estimating the time in my mind. Suddenly, there was a commotion outside the door, and with a loud bang, the door was pushed open. My mother-in-law stood at the entrance with Chenroy, Chenwei, and relatives from both families, all looking furious. Chenroy immediately tried to attack, grabbing Zhao Chang by the collar, but he was half a head shorter than Zhao Chang, making the scene quite ridiculous. "So it's you. Not only do you oppose me at work, but you also dare to mess around with my wife. I'll beat both of you adulterers to death today." Zhao Chang, being strong and sturdy, pushed Chenroy so hard he staggered. Chenwei also rushed forward to help his brother attack Zhao Chang. My mother-in-law charged at me, trying to grab my hair, but I dodged and picked up the laptop. She missed and fell heavily to the ground. I raised the laptop, looking furious. "You actually suspect me of having an affair? Fine, I'll show you who the real adulterer is." I zoomed in on the photos, revealing the unsightly scenes of Chenroy and Chao Xian in full view. Everyone present was stunned, and those who had been ready to fight moments ago turned their attention to Chenroy. Chenroy's face turned from green to pale as he lunged forward, trying to snatch the laptop. Zhao Chang snatched the computer away and angrily shouted at Chen Rui, "Your wife went to great lengths to protect your job, even trying to spend a fortune to buy the evidence, and what do? Not only do you turn the tables, but you also try to smear me. I'm telling you, I'm not selling these photos anymore. I'm going to post your scandal on the company's internal network right now so everyone can see what kind of person you really are." Towering over the others, Zhao Chang shoved aside Chen Rui and his brother, storming out of the room. Even at this point, Chen Rui, utterly humiliated, couldn't resist yelling at Zhao Chang's retreating figure, "Go ahead and post it. You think I'm scared of you, so what if I lose my job? I make more money in a month now than you'll earn in your entire lifetime." Just as everyone was exchanging uneasy glances, Wang Guifan suddenly went into a frenzy, lunging at me to grab my hair. "It's all your fault, you useless woman. You can't even give birth to a child. My son had to do this to carry on the family line. You're the reason my son is about to lose his stable job, you jinx." Seeing her twist the truth so shamelessly, everyone couldn't stand it any longer and quickly pulled me away, shielding me behind them. Wang Guifan's blatant distortion of the truth made the Chen family relatives wish they could vanish into thin air. My relatives, on the other hand, were seething with anger. They stopped a few who tried to slip away and spoke up for me. "What nonsense are you spouting? Your son cheated, and you're blaming Anru for it." I pinched my thigh hard, forcing out a few tears. "Chen Rui, so this is what you and your family really think? I went to great lengths, using my own savings for surgery to buy the evidence and try to cover up your scandal, all in the hope that you'd come to your senses. I never imagined you and your mother would hate me so much. In that case, let's get a divorce. I won't stand in the way of you having a house full of descendants." When Chen Rui heard me mention divorce, his eyes lit up briefly before he put on a pained expression. "Anru, my mom isn't entirely wrong. We've been married for 5 years, and you still haven't been able to conceive. To ensure the Chen family line continues, I had no choice but to take this step. How about this? I'll give you some money as compensation. Leaving our family won't be a loss for you." I nodded tearfully. My hot-tempered aunt had long since had enough. She stomped downstairs, printed out a divorce agreement, and forced Chen Rui to sign it immediately. At first, Chen Rui tried to brush me off with just 50,000 yuan, but the glares from my relatives were enough to swallow him whole. Someone sneered on the spot, "Aren't you supposed to be rich? This amount isn't even enough to fend off a beggar. You just bragged about making more in a month than others earn in a lifetime, and now you're showing your true colors, aren't you?" Under the pressure and taunts from the relatives, Chen Rui had no choice but to grit his teeth and give me 800,000 yuan in cash, no more, no less, exactly half of the money from selling the house, the half that rightfully belonged to me. As the rumored date for the large dividend payout drew closer, Chen Rui rushed to finalize the divorce with me. The Chen family gleefully packed their belongings, preparing to move out of the rental and into Chao Xian's home. Wang Guifan stroked Chao Xian's slightly rounded belly and shot me a sidelong glance. "Su Anru, you should have admitted earlier that you're just unlucky. You'll never get to live in my son's big villa. But considering how you've served me all these years, when you're old and alone, you can still come work as a maid in our house. You're clumsy and can't handle delicate tasks, but you could be our foot-washing girl. I might even give you a bowl of rice to eat." With that, they all burst into laughter. I smiled without a word, my gaze fixed intently on Chao Xian's slightly swollen belly. My gaze made Chao Xian uncomfortable. She clung tightly to Chen Rui, putting on a coquettish voice as she whined, "Honey, why is Sister Su staring at me like that? Just because she can't get pregnant herself, does she have to begrudge others who can?" Chen Rui quickly tried to soothe her, pulling her even closer. "Anru, stop looking at Chao Xian like that. Over all these years, my family has treated you with more than enough kindness. Who else would want you besides me, you barren land? My family has supported you for so many years. Don't be ungrateful." I couldn't help but laugh, slowly pulling a medical report from my bag. "Chen Rui, take a look at this, then you'll know who the real problem has been all these years." Chen Rui hesitantly took the report and glanced at it, his face turning pale and then flushing red. Chao Xian leaned over to look as well, her expression freezing for a moment before quickly returning to normal. Chen Rui angrily tore the report to shreds and threw it in my face. "You bitch, how dare you slander me even now? Chao Xian is already pregnant with my child. How could I possibly be infertile?" I smiled brightly. "Naturally, it's because the child in her belly isn't yours at all." After reading the report, Wang Guifan immediately raised her arm to strike Chao Xian. "You little slut, is the child in your belly even a Chen family descendant? Chao Xian wasn't one to be trifled with. She shoved Wang Guifan to the ground and shrieked, I am carrying Chen Rui's child. How dare you accuse me based on that bitch's worthless piece of paper? That report must be fake. She just can't stand that I took Chen Rui from her. Chen Rui's face turned ashen, a mix of embarrassment and fury. He snatched the report, tore it to shreds, and hurriedly pulled his mother and Chao Xian apart. Mom, calm down. How could I possibly have such a problem? Chao Xian is definitely carrying my child. Su Anru is just talking nonsense, Chen Rui insisted, his neck stiff with defiance. If you don't believe me, we can do a paternity test tomorrow. I had no interest in watching their family drama any longer. Taking advantage of the chaos, I quietly slipped away from that den of wolves. Back when we had our premarital checkup, I already knew Chen Rui was infertile, but at the time, he was under a lot of work pressure and had a fragile ego. I was afraid telling him would only make him more depressed, so I took the blame myself. I told him and his mother that my heart condition made it unsuitable for me to have children and that we should wait until after surgery to consider it. They believed it, and my mother-in-law never missed a chance to make things difficult for me because of it. Looking back now, I was truly laughably foolish. In my past life, why did I sacrifice myself just to save face for people like them? I went out and hailed a taxi, enjoying a smooth ride all the way to my new home, a luxurious, spacious apartment in the city center. Standing before the massive floor-to-ceiling window, I gazed at the brilliantly lit river view. Above the night sky, the gloom of my past life gradually faded away. The private detective I had hired informed me that Chao Xian had found a private hospital, bribed the staff in the examination department, and obtained a fake medical report. Confident as Chen Rui was, he never believed there could be any issue with him, so he was naturally overjoyed and ready to become a father. I couldn't be bothered to deal with the mess in their family, especially since I had so much wealth to manage. Although praising to kill had made me rich overnight, I didn't want to spend my entire life groveling and relying on exploiting these scoundrels for profit. Now, with the rewards from the system, I finally had the financial means to fulfill the entrepreneurial dream I had left unfinished in my previous life and build a career of my own. During my university years, I had co-founded a small education company with a few like-minded classmates, providing education and employment support for children with physical disabilities. Unfortunately, the project failed due to insufficient funding, but now, the one thing I lacked least was money. I reconnected with my old classmates, and we immediately agreed to revive our old venture. This time, however, we established an education group. Private schools and art training programs became highly profitable, and the education project for people with disabilities finally received ample financial support. I also founded a girls' education charity fund in Xiao Zhao's name, helping impoverished girls break free from their difficulty, just like Xiao Zhao, to gain freedom, health, confidence, and sunshine. Everything went more smoothly than I had imagined amidst the chaotic drama of the Chen family. Xiao Zhao had already successfully completed her college entrance exams. On the day she walked out of the examination hall, she called me and said she thought she had performed quite well. Her tone was filled with freedom and lightness, and she tentatively asked me if I would be willing to leave the Chen family with her for good if she got into a good university. I laughed and reassured her, telling her that I would take care of everything. I arranged a travel butler for her and sent her on a graduation trip to Europe. I thought it would be better for her to stay far away from the Chen family until everything was settled. Casually scrolling through my social media feed, I saw Chen Rui posting an intimate photo with Chao Xian, alongside his newly purchased car. The caption read, "Those without fortune cannot enter the doors of the fortunate." As soon as I kicked out the jinx, wealth immediately came knocking. I rolled my eyes and muttered under my breath, "Idiot." But as for that brother Peng Chen Rui had invested in, I had already looked into him thoroughly. He was nothing but a complete fraud. Chen Rui had fallen into what anti-fraud campaigns call a pig butchering scam. They would first offer a few rounds of dividends to lure people into investing, coaxing those looking for quick gains to sell everything they owned and pour it all in. But that wasn't the end of it. They disguised usurious loan contracts as dividend confirmation agreements, tricking Chen Rui and others into taking on massive high-interest loans. They thought these were dividends from their investments, unaware that every penny they spent would have to be repaid with interest many times over. Yet they were still lost in the dream of overnight wealth, flooding their social media feeds every day, flaunting their extravagant, wasteful lifestyles. But this luxury only lasted for 2 months. when the Chen family realized their wallets were nearly empty and the new dividends still hadn't arrived, they called Brother Peng, only to find he had long since vanished. Having taken the money and run, the Chen family rushed to what they thought was the company, only to find it completely deserted. After reporting it to the police, they learned it was a professional criminal gang, and the scammed funds had already been transferred overseas. With almost no hope of recovery, the Chen family panicked instantly. 3 useless individuals, none of them with any ideas. Chen Wei shouted about fighting and killing, saying he would go find Brother Peng and settle the score. Wang Guifen's blood pressure spiked, and she fainted on the spot. Chao Xian, seeing that Chen Rui had become penniless, had long grown disgusted with the family and kicked them all out overnight. Chen Rui refused to leave, urging Wang Guifen to lie at her doorstep, throwing a tantrum and shouting, "My precious grandson is here, I'm not going anywhere." Chao Xian laughed in anger and made a call to summon her real boyfriend, a burly, tattooed man. Without wasting words, the tattooed man picked Wang Guifen up and threw her out. Chao Xian walked over and added 2 kicks, sneering, "You old hag, really think you're some rich lady? If it weren't for the fact that this country bumpkin Chen Rui had a bit of money to spend, would I have put up with your family's nonsense? You're all so stupid, you couldn't even spot a fake paternity test. Chen Rui was too drunk to even touch me, and he still wanted to be a father. No wonder you got scammed out of everything. You deserve it." Upon hearing this, Wang Guifen's blood boiled, and she rammed her head into Chao Xian's stomach, causing her to bleed on the spot. Chao Xian was rushed to the hospital, and it's unclear whether the baby was saved. When Aunt's son from upstairs relayed these events to me, she laughed so hard her wrinkles deepened threefold. "This is what they call, the wicked are tormented by the wicked." I smiled, took Aunt's son's hand, and placed a thick envelope in her palm. "Auntie son, keep an eye on them for me. It puts my mind at ease to know their family is doing poorly." Auntie's son beamed as she took the envelope. "Xiao Su, you're a lucky one. It's a shame you didn't get to see that dog-eat-dog scene with your own eyes. If you ever want to know anything in the future, just come to me. I'll make sure to describe every disgraceful detail of that family for you." Auntie's son left, overjoyed. By nature, she despised evil and loved to talk and laugh, but with her children not around, she had no one to share her gossip with, so she came to me every now and then to tell me about the Chen family's antics. Although I couldn't care less about that family, who doesn't love a bit of gossip. The debt collectors gave them a month, threatening to break 1 leg each from the 2 brothers if they didn't repay. Chen Rui and Chen Wei had no way to come up with the money, so they spent their days searching for Brother Peng. Unexpectedly, they didn't find Brother Peng but instead ran into Zhao Feifei, who had taken the 500,000 betrothal gift and disappeared. Zhao Feifei was shopping arm in arm with her new boyfriend. Chen Wei immediately lunged at her and started fighting with the man beside her. Chen Rui joined in, demanding that Zhao Feifei return the 500,000 betrothal gift. How could Zhao Feifei agree? Seeing these 2 ruin the scheme she had worked so hard to pull off, she immediately called her accomplices, who gave Chen Rui and Chen Wei a severe beating. When the deadline arrived, Chen Rui still couldn't repay the loans. As a result, Chen Rui had one of his legs broken, and Chen Wei had both of his arms crippled. The 3 members of the Chen family clung to life, as lowly as rats scurrying across the street, forced to live in a dark, damp space under a bridge. A few days later, I received a call from the workers renovating the old house, saying the construction was nearly finished. Unexpectedly, Chen Rui's family returned to the old house in the middle of the night and refused to leave when work resumed the next day, insisting it was their ancestral home. I drove my newly acquired Maybach to the old house, and as soon as I entered, I saw Chen Rui's family sprawled across the living room and doorway, stubbornly blocking the construction. The workers were furious but helpless. I pushed the door open and walked in, and Chen Rui almost didn't recognize me. I smiled faintly. Well, who do we have here? If it isn't Mr. Chen, what brings you to this humble old house? Master Zheng, please escort Mr. Chen and his family out. We wouldn't want them to lower their status. Chen Rui's eyes lit up, and he lunged toward me, only to be stopped by Master Zheng. He cried out urgently, "Wife, you're finally here. Tell them this old house is mine, and make these bricklayers get out of my house." I looked down at him, slowly pulling out the house purchase contract. "Your house, it's written in black and white. You sold this house to me months ago." Watching Chen Rui's bewildered expression, Master Zheng impatiently explained, "The government has developed Yushui Township into an ecotourism village, and this street has become a commercial district. Most of the vacant old houses on this street have been bought by Miss Sue. After renovation, they're rented out, each bringing in over 100,000 a year in rent. Hearing this, Chenroy's eyes turned red. So you knew all along and tricked me into selling the old house. I'm the rightful owner of this house, and I'm not leaving. Sue Onru, you wretched woman, you've taken advantage of our family at every turn. Just as I was growing impatient with his nonsense, a crisp voice suddenly cut him off. How did my house become yours? Xiao Zhao walked in and linked her arm with mine. Her high ponytail swayed playfully as she gave me a sweet smile. Chenroy, back when your father died and your family of 3 had nowhere to turn, you came to Yushui Township seeking refuge at my home. My parents not only didn't look down on you, but they took care of you in every way, letting you live with us long term. But how did you treat them? Hearing this, Wang Guifan trembled all over. You, how do you know? Xiao Zhao pointed at her, her voice trembling but clear. It was you tampered with their tea, you watched them writhe in abdominal pain, yet deliberately delayed sending them to the hospital, letting them die of intestinal colic right before your eyes. Xiao Zhao's eyes were red, her voice trembling slightly with anger. Chenroy's father and Xiao Zhao's father were biological brothers. After Chenroy's father died, Wang Guifan couldn't support herself and thought of her brother-in-law's family, who only had one daughter. She pretended to be pitiful and moved into her brother-in-law's home, waiting for the chance to drug the couple. After Xiao Zhao's parents were killed by her, she turned her attention to Xiao Zhao. She wanted to eliminate the threat once and for all, but was afraid of arousing suspicion, so she kept Xiao Zhao alive. She even had a cunning plan. When Xiao Zhao grew up, she would exchange her for a large bride price to marry off her 2 sons. I've been married for many years, and my mother-in-law always claimed that Xiao Zhao was her biological daughter, but her actions toward this biological daughter were truly hard to understand. So after being reborn, I went to verify this suspicion. I looked through Wang Guifan's bank statements over the years and found that she would withdraw a sum of cash every so often, then mysteriously disappear for a day or 2. When she returned, she would be in a foul mood, often taking it out on me. Following this clue, I discovered that the person she regularly visited was once a rural doctor, but in reality, he was a swindler who sold drugs. It was this person who gave Wang Guifan a dose of poison that killed Xiao Zhao's biological parents. On the day the college entrance exam results were released, I gave the evidence to Xiao Zhao and let her decide what to do. Xiao Zhao cried her heart out, swearing that she would make this family pay. Wang Guifan had been superstitious about health supplements for years and refused to get checkups or take medicine. After this shock, she fainted several times but was still revived. Wang Guifan and that rural doctor were quickly taken away by the police. Because we had sufficient evidence, the case was filed and the verdict came quickly. Later, Wang Guifan was allowed to receive medical treatment outside prison but required her 2 sons to take care of her at her bedside. How could these 2 brothers be willing to do that? They couldn't even stand feeding her 1 meal a day. Finding it disgusting, Chenroy, with 1 leg broken, vented all his resentment on Wang Guifan, who couldn't move, standing at the door of the hospital room. Watching this scene of motherly kindness and filial piety, I felt nothing but satisfaction. Chenroy noticed me at the door, and his desperate eyes suddenly lit up with greed, as if he had seen a lifeline. He lunged toward me, but I stepped aside in disgust. He pleaded pitifully, "Wife, I knew you still cared about me, you wouldn't leave me to die, right?" Chenwei, missing an arm, crouched in the corner and also begged me like a dog. Sister-in-law, you finally came. You care about me the most, don't you? Please save us." Wang Guifan, lying on the hospital bed, also looked at me, making urgent, muffled sounds in her throat. Chenroy knelt on the ground and snapped at her in disgust, telling her to shut up. "Onru, everything that happened before was forced on me by my mother. I never wanted to leave you. It was all because she insisted on having a grandson that I ended up like this. Besides, I was tricked by that bitch Chao Xian. You've always been the one I loved the most." I curled my lip. "Who you love has nothing to do with me. Is your love worth anything?" Chenroy was taken aback and stammered, You're not here to save me, then why are you here?" I smiled faintly. "I'm here, of course, to bring you medicine." Chenroy looked confused, but Wang Guifan's eyes were filled with urgency, thinking I had actually found some miracle cure. I clapped my hands, and 2 workers carried in the 20,000 yuan health mattress. I said with a smile, "Old Mrs. Wang, look, I've brought your beloved mattress. You really are farsighted, aren't you?" Didn't you say this mattress could cure all illnesses and prolong life? Now it's finally going to come in handy. After Xiao Zhao's application was accepted by the Peking University School of Law, I checked the tracking number countless times every day. Xiao Zhao teased me. Do you think the admission letter is going to fly away halfway? The oppressive summer heat gradually faded, replaced by the sweet fragrance of osmanthus slowly spreading through the air. On the day of the new semester, I went to see Xiao Zhao off, and we took photos together by the shores of Weiming Lake. Xiao Zhao looked down at her phone for a moment, then suddenly raised her head with an innocent, radiant smile. Sis, it seems like bad people always get what they deserve. Isn't that the truth of life? Otherwise, why is it that the Chen family only ever runs into bad people? I smiled knowingly and gently brushed the stray hairs from her forehead. When the heart is not upright, delusions arise. Those bad people are merely projections of the greed in their own hearts. They cannot enter the world of the kind-hearted, so they can only sympathize with each other and torment one another. Xiao Zhao tilted her head and asked, "What about us?" I smiled. "We, of course, will work hard and strive to become wealthy women." After hearing the stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.